Hi. So I had an experience recently. I had an opportunity to use my pen for money, to barter my abilities as a wordsmith for some scratch. It wasn't really a certain opportunity. It was more like my words were being made to strip naked and dance to someone else's specifications under someone else's scrutiny and before other people's critical eyes. Like my words were being put on public auction, like they were being made to compete to be judged according to someone else's arbitrary standards. And ultimately, the gig itself wasn't worth so much, value-wise, I mean. But I'm aware that these kinds of opportunities don't always present themselves to me. I know enough not to take them for granted. And plus, I'm a pretty big fan of eating. You know, the activity of putting yourself in a position to take in enough nutrition to keep on living. Yeah, it's a very important hobby of mine. Besides, we all must do what we must do in service of the almighty dollar, right? So I got to work, and it didn't feel right. You know, for lack of a better term or some impressive psychobabble, it simply didn't feel right. It, in fact, felt like my words were being made to strip naked and dance to someone else's specification, to someone else's tune. The more this continued, and the more it felt like my words were less like my words and more like they could be anybody else's. The further I went into it, the more the topic seemed uninspired, the specifications felt restricting, and the whole endeavor just seemed uninteresting. The conflict between the creative and the professional raging inside of me, on every part of my being, just behind the tips of my fingers. So much so that every bit of progress made also felt like a piece of self-betrayal. So much so that getting it done, ultimately, felt like a chore. What was meant to be the result of a creative endeavor ended up being pushed out through disparate sighs and gritted teeth. Long story short, it didn't work out. My words didn't make the cut. This is right around when those feelings of self-doubt tend to creep in. I mean, this is supposed to be the natural evolution, right? Like, you find a thing, you work out carving a niche, and everything is meant to work out, right? Evidently not. What a tragedy it is that the talent should live compromised due to the inability to mint their gifts. Perhaps I've just got some bad luck. Or perhaps not. Because you see, I had an epiphany. Perhaps I've been going about this all wrong. And I need to change my whole system from the ground up. Push myself way out of my comfort zone and get my hands dirty. If you don't understand yet, this is an ad for me. I will no longer be merely auctioning off my work or my words. I will be auctioning off what's left of my soul. For that I say, I will work, I will strive, I will dance for your amusement. I'll model, I'll belly dance, I'll join the WGA, I'll join the SAG if they'll have me. Hell, I might even start an OnlyFans, just to show all of you, strangers on the internet, that I am prepared to, in furtherance of whatever parasocial relationship we might end up forming, expose myself more to you than I have to my own family. I'll put my freaking Upwork profile in the description next to my Twitter account, next to backwards links to all the other I've ever done. Send me work, send me hate mail. I'll be here. I'll be everywhere. I'll be on your screens, in your streets, and in your dreams. And most importantly, I'll be posting a lot more here and everywhere by whatever metric guides me. By the numbers about my own psychological imbalances. And if I get this done just right, there just might be a Patreon link coming through, or a NordVPN, or a Manscaped, or a Raid Shadow Legends sponsorship, because we all must do what we must do in service of the almighty dollar. It's about time I made my own luck.